With just 8 games left in the Premier League season, have Manchester United made third place? Theirs to lose this season. Have Harry Maguire and Lenny Yoro made a spot in the starting 11? Theirs to lose if and when, hopefully, Licha and De Ligt returned from their injuries. Has Michael Carrick done enough to earn the permanent job for maybe a year or two until some of these other managers are out of contract? These are the questions I want to explore today as we discussed Manchester United's 3-1 win over Aston Villa at Old Trafford. We are here to just talk a little bit again, recap a little of the performance, the numbers, and all that stuff. But I have 3 takeaways that I saw from the match. I want to share them with you, get your thoughts. It's a good chance to just talk about the match again. So that's what we're going to do today, guys. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Check those memberships as well. I'll be right back in a hot second. How's everybody doing? Monday doesn't feel a bit like Monday, does it? It's just weird. It's been a weird couple weeks. Honestly, the weather here has been so garbage. It's just not been fun. But hey, you know what? We're gonna trudge through. I'm gonna make that a little bigger. Just FYI, it is crazy windy right here right now where I am. We actually lost power for like a minute or so earlier. Had to wait for the Wi-Fi to kick back on again. So if we lose power, it is not because I've been attacked by a werewolf or a zombie apocalypse. It's because it's literally, we had the tornado not that far from me a couple weeks back. That's how crazy it's been. But we are going to persevere. Big up everyone in the chat. Dana B's in the house. Yes, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. You did just miss out on the final day of 20% off the United vs. Everybody store. You get yourself one of the OG logo shirts, but it is what it is. Let's chat a little bit of news first before we dive into this match, because I've got some news I want to get your guys' thoughts about. And yes, we're a United channel. This news doesn't really have to do with United, but it could potentially impact United. It can impact the Premier League going forward as well, because it also maybe has a ripple effect to other teams in the league. So want to know your thoughts on this. I did post this in the WhatsApp group for the channel. Again, starting 11 and Legends members, you do get access to that WhatsApp group. But Chelsea, the Athletic put out a big story this morning. Chelsea have been handed a big fine, significant fine, almost £11 million fine. And they've also got a 1-year ban on transfers for first team players. Now, it is a suspended 1-year ban as well. But this is relating to breaches of financial rules during Roman Abramovich's ownership Chelsea. Now, again, the ban is suspended, meaning Chelsea will still be able to register senior players if they do not commit any further breaches. But no points deductions or anything like that. So these charges relate to, I guess, incomplete financial reporting, missed payments from about a decade ago. Doesn't impact PSR at all, but this is payments to like agents, third party image rights holders, other corporate entities and all that. I mean, we all know Chelsea like to mix and match everything that goes on at that club. You don't know, like you talk about, not crossing revenue streams and stuff. Like I don't purchase anything from the channel, for instance, with my personal stuff. It all comes to a business account for the channel and vice versa. Like I don't think Chelsea care, but now Chelsea did self-report the information to not only to the league, but also to UEFA and the FA. So with that, I guess that also counts as like what the Athletic calls exceptional cooperation throughout the investigation, which has helped them, right? That's going to help. So it's good and bad, right? So it's the exact opposite of what So it's interesting that terminology was used, because it's the exact opposite of what City have done during their whole case, right? The whole point of City was that they tried to hide things. They weren't cooperative. They've been fighting, digging their heels in, making it as difficult as possible, which usually not a good sign. Now, some people will just say, well, City are doing that because they're sick of being picked on, whatever. Yeah, Crimea River City. But most of the time, when teams like Forest or Everton or Chelsea or whatever, or Villa, they've come forward and as they've done their own due diligence, their own self-audit, their own numbers reporting, they're the ones who bring it up and then they accept the responsibility. It is what it is. So, but is this cooperation and self-reporting that reportedly eased the punishment on Chelsea, which could have been worse. Now, this is separate. This latest thing is also separate from Chelsea's ongoing, yet to be resolved case where the FA, remember the FA did charge them with 74 breaches of payments to agents and whatnot. So again, separate from this, but at the same time, I don't feel like that makes them look better, because that, to me, if it's another case of breaches regarding payments to these, or that to me, that screams repeat offender, right? And I think that punishment should be worse for repeat offenders. Now, this also means they're not allowed to sign any academy players from other clubs in the Premier League and the Championship as well. It is what it is. You remember they did get done a while back for loaning out a lot of young players. They had too many players on loan and whatnot. I mean, Chelsea aren't one for finding loopholes and stuff, right? I mean, it's a little ridiculous. Obviously, it's not United related, but again, is this setting a precedent? Either way, I've seen some people speculate that the ease of punishment is almost like the FA kind of setting a precedent for leniency for Man City. Again, I've seen other people argue that they are still trying to set precedents to punish City, because what City have done is similar, but almost a little worse in some ways as well. But I want to know your thoughts. Bossy, big up, says another day when City gets away clean. Well, we're still waiting to see what now. Remember, Chelsea have had a 74 breach case that's been open for a couple of years now, that's still ongoing as well. So they've got a very similar situation to City's charges as well. Theirs has been going on for roughly the same period too. So, I mean, corruption is one thing, right? I think that these clubs they're trying to do anything they can to get an advantage financially, performance-wise, whatever you want to call it. I think that like, look at what Arsenal are doing on set pieces, for instance, right? Technically, it's not cheating. There's probably some loopholes in there, but at the same time, I mean, it is sometimes those margins of the game. How many times have we seen? I mean, one of City's charges is, has to do with watering the pitch, right? Like those little tiny things. That can be a big deal. So, but you never know. But I thought I would ask you guys, see what you guys' thoughts are on all that, because it's insane. It's insane the kind of stuff that goes on, man. The kind of things that people stoop to try to get just a little bit of an advantage in things. But obviously, this is a pretty big deal. Now, again, this had to do with Roman Abramovich. It doesn't have to do with Todd Bowley. The Todd Bowley stuff is a whole separate thing. But interesting stuff. But want to know your thoughts. Let me know how your day's going, guys. How did the rest of your weekend go? I figure we're all kind of tight by now, right? We're all kind of friends. We all know each other pretty half decently. So I always like to see how everyone's doing, what's been going on. Danny, hope your back is doing well. If Mike's in the house, hope his daughter is doing healthy at home. Hopefully just chilling, cozy. Got super dad taking care of her. So big up Michael Bell as well if you're watching. I've got 3 thoughts, you guys. Let me jump in here. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Let's start with probably the most obvious one. Bruno, the record breaker. So not only did Bruno create 6 chances on the night, but he might have gotten a couple of assists, right? Yes, a pair of assists on the night, bring his tally to 16 this season, twice as many as anyone else in the league. Literally more than the next 2 players on the list combined, Bruno. Like, that's insane. That's assist, by the way. He's already like 3 dozen ahead for chances created. Like, it's insane. He put in a perfect corner for Casemiro. Casemiro's movement does play a lot of that as well, because Casemiro is really, really good at finding space on set pieces. But Bruno's pass to Matheus Cunha was for the winning goal, right? It ended up being the winning goal. One of the most perfectly weighted passes I've ever seen. Like, the more I watch it, the better it gets. I didn't even clock in real time here. I'm going to put it up on the screen for you guys. The more I clock it in real time, like, he hits this first time. So let's watch it together a couple times here. So Casemiro, and his first time right here, boom. And the ball is already slowed down perfectly in Cunha's path. And all Cunha has to do is just open his body. Here, we'll watch it one more time. Like, first time, he scans, gets his head up, sees the run, and just automatically just does what he needs to do. Like, it's slowing down. He put enough backspin on that to just slow that down right then and there. Like, that's insane. That's not even fair. Like, it's not fair that he can do that. Again, like I said, the more I watch it, the better it gets. It's world-class passing right now. And of course, this means that he sets a new record for single season assists by a United player, surpassing David Beckham's record. Anyone else surprised that Nani is third on that list, by the way? He is now fourth all time, I think, for um, Premier League assists. I can't remember off the top of my head. I looked it up beforehand. But he also just he's a third United or fourth United player of all assist maker of all time in United. That's what it was. He also became just the third United player in the Premier League era to reach 100 goals and 100 assists in all comps. He's just behind Wayne Rooney and Ryan Giggs as well. And with 8 matches to go, Bruno needs just 5 more assists to break Thierry Henry's single season assist record in the Premier League. So 8 matches, 5 assists to go. I mean, does he think he does it? I mean, if he's going by this rate, I mean, if he's going to get like 2 every other match, I mean, he could very easily do that. Like by the time we get back for international break, who knows, man? Can he do it? Will he do it? Will he? I mean, if and when Bruno finally decides to move on from United, now what will his legacy look like? He is a record breaker for us. It's a shame that maybe we didn't have some better attackers or a more consistent structure, more consistent players around him, more consistent coaching, better structure above him at the board level. I think with any one of those factors in place, Bruno could easily have a third more assists than he has. Like if we had some consistency, Ronaldo didn't throw his toys out of the pram, Rashford and Garnacho weren't just annoying and little brats. Anything like that, maybe a half decent striker for more than a couple seasons. Like it's a shame that we got Cavani a couple years later than we like because that, I mean, imagine Bruno and Cavani, just like how like that would have been massive. Then he says pizza. Yeah, it was an absolute worldy of a pass, man. I can't even like I said yesterday, dude. If you had a calculator in a laboratory and you had AI, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever you want, you'd still wouldn't be able to come up with something that perfect. But what will Bruno's legacy be when it finally his tenure at United, the sun finally sets on that and he moves on to whatever's next in his career? Is he a hero? Is he a legend? Does he get a statue? Is the fact that a major trophy, the league or Champions League or whatever, does that factor into it? 2 Europa League finals, just fell short both times. Not entirely his fault, right? Like we don't blame him for those, but again, that seems to be the stick that everyone wants to beat him with. Like, where's the trophies? Like, oh, if United did so poorly in 21-22, Bruno was the captain, it must be his fault. United failed to win the Europa League against Spurs, Bruno was a captain, it must be his fault. Like, it's so weird to me how 2+2 seems to be 5 with so many rivals or Roy Keane's, for what? But I think if he is basically our version of Harry Kane, just world-class player, easily the best player in the squad, just wrong, almost like wrong era, wrong time, just whatever you want to call that. And just, he's going to miss out, unfortunately. I feel like we'll see what happens this summer. If he stays, whatever, and he could probably go and have an excellent World Cup with Portugal, probably going to be Ronaldo's final World Cup. And it's still funny to me that Ronaldo gets to play those first couple matches after getting that red card against Ireland, but it is what it is. But let me know what you think Bruno's legacy will be. Is he a hero? Is he a legend? Is he statue worthy? Maybe we'll rank some of these players later on, and then later on in another show sometimes. But yeah, that's my first takeaway. Bruno, the record breaker. Moving on. Has Carrick done enough? Number 2. I know I keep going on and on about this, and I know it makes me sound like I think I know more than Michael Carrick. I don't, by the way, before you guys clip me up, but I'm still a little concerned. This part of me is a little concerned about the way Michael Carrick sets up this United side against low block sides like we saw yesterday. Because Villa were very, very happy just to sit back. And even when they equalized, they were just immediately like, no, we're going to sit in a low block, and that's what we're going to do. It was kind of like that for both sides. But there have been a few games now where Carrick has started Bryan Mbeumo as the 9, only for him to be completely nullified by low blocks, or he has no space to run, or like numbers in defense that just smother him off the ball, or even just prevent him from receiving it altogether, like cutting out those passes. It was the same against Villa. Fewest touches of any United player who started the match, second fewest touches of anyone on the pitch. I mean, Ollie Watkins had 6 fewer touches, so it kind of made me seem like it wasn't the game for pacey strikers. Both sides were kind of set up to try to sit deep and hit on the counter, and both sides saw their strikers basically not get much of the ball. But Carrick insisted, despite past results against similar opposition. So again, To me, that is a bit of a strike against him. That is a bit of a hurdle that he needs to get over at this point. As if he wants to reach that next echelon, you've got to have a plan B. Now, maybe you could argue that team selection, injuries, just the squad that we have, what are his options? Well, we talked about that a couple times, and I thought the fact that when Shesko came on and we started to look a little bit more dangerous, I think that is the answer right there. But is that in itself, is he banking too much on moments of magic from Shesko? I mean, and there's that whole factor, like I spoke about yesterday, that even when we don't have a nine on the pitch, we put crosses in the box. We bring a nine on and we don't put crosses. We literally had half as many crosses in the second half as we did in the first half yesterday. So I don't get, it's so backwards to me sometimes. Part of me is like, maybe it's intentionally backwards to try to do a little reverse psychology, but it doesn't make sense. You get Shesko on the pitch, 6.5 feet tall, can outjump anyone in the league, and we've got half as many crosses. Make that make sense. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Somebody's got to explain it to me. Is he old school? Maybe too old school when it comes to just attack, attack, attack. We saw later on in the match, we're up. We kept going for it when maybe I thought there were times to make it a little boring. Is he not tactically astute enough to problem solve in those final couple minutes? Maybe be a little bit more pragmatic. But then there's also the other factor. Again, this isn't me trying to convince you. He's not. I'm trying to put out all the factors here. But he is the first United manager to win his first 6 home matches. He is only the 4th Premier League manager to do it as well. He's beaten some experienced managers who are supposedly world class in Pep Guardiola, experienced managers who have a lot of trophies in Unai Emery, managers who might be winning the league this year. We'll see in Arteta. He's beaten these guys. He's done better at United than a lot of these managers that have come in, and their CVs are much better. Guys like Ten Hag, guys like Mourinho, guys like, I mean, I guess done better is a loose term, right? But in terms of being only the 4th Premier League manager to go 6 in a row at home, and then literally the first United manager to win 6 in a row at home on his first 6, like that's a big deal. But what do you think about Carrick? What do you think about his staff? Is Carrick, when you think about Carrick, when you think about the staff we have, do you think that they're good enough to challenge for a title? If we go into Europe next year, do you see them putting, blooding a couple noses of a Bayern Munich or a PSG or Real Madrid? What about the manager market right now? The manager market is garbage right now. It would be like similar to if you were looking for a top striker this summer. The options are just not there. They're just not. The World Cup, there was spanner in the works. Now, there are some free agents out there. There's still a Xavi out there who people don't really want to talk about. There's, who else is it? There are Maresca. Some people really like Maresca. Again, I'm just throwing the names out there. But again, anyone else is either at a club or at a World Cup. Now, to an extent, I agree with Roy Keane when he was talking with Ashley Young, and I think it was Michael Owen about what do we, just go and get the top choice. Now, I agree there if there's someone. I mean, we did it with Amorim. We did it mid-season with Amorim, so it can be done. We've shown that we can do it. Other clubs do it a lot as well, but it's not as simple, I think, as Roy Keane makes it seem. Now, do maybe give him a year or 2-year contract, maybe, or a 1-year contract, even if you want to go that way, because Luis Enrique will be out of contract at PSG in 2027. So another year of Luis Enrique at PSG, maybe that could be the option. That seems to be a lot of people's preferred options now. If prior to last year, I would have maybe put Enrique in that Ancelotti realm of he has to have world-class players, right? PSG have changed up the way they do things now. Luis Enrique has a lot of young players coming through. Maybe he's added a new string to his bow. He's proven he's been at big clubs. He's won trebles. Like, I don't know. But again, do we give Carrick maybe a 1-2-year contract, go for someone after World Cup? Because all these World Cup managers, by the time that's done, they will kind of be in a little bit of limbo going into next summer. So maybe that's a perfect time to look at a guy like Nagelsmann. Now, Nagelsmann extended to 2028, but I think after this summer's World Cup, all bets are off when it comes to international managers. I think anyone is available at that point, whether you're a Pochettino or Thomas Tuchel, Nagelsmann, even an Ancelotti. I think once this World Cup is over, everyone's good. This is part of why I don't like this manager market, because I don't want to just settle. And for some people, Carrick would be settling. And again, I'm throwing out all the options here, but I do think that right now he's done it. He's shown that he's done it. And I think that other managers, you look at what they have done, and maybe they would do it, but we've also said that about other managers that we've had since Ferguson retired who have come and gone because they did it before, but they couldn't do it at United. Ten Hag, Amorim, all these guys. So let me check in with the chat, you guys. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe in here. Let's see. Debasi says, if he performs good against a low block, monstrous defense, I will love him. But until then, yeah, are you talking about Bruno or are you talking about Carrick? Yeah, it's hard because we don't have players, but I do think we have solutions that, like, again, putting Shesko in up there, I think is a solution. Danny says, no team has a plan B for now. Low block this year. Only set piece specials. Yeah, we really are. I mean, Casemiro, if we could just give Casemiro a contract and just let him come on for free kicks and corners, I would be fine with that, honestly. Danny says he finishes the season the way we are getting results the last couple months he deserves. Yeah, maybe just that 2-year contract, and then maybe. And here's the thing: you're not set in stone as a club, right? You don't have to say a manager, okay, we give you a 2-year contract. We can't even think about anything for 2 years. Like, you're allowed to constantly be reassessing, constantly be in conversation, constantly be kind of keeping a rolling, updated list. That's what you should be doing with transfer targets too, right? Changing around the priorities, communication, looking around, scouting, constantly keeping that list going. Different options, A, B, C, D, all the way down to Z if you want to, or Z for my UK compatriots here. And the same should be true for managers. I think that this summer is just difficult. I don't want I don't have to wait till after the World Cup. I think that that's too late. I mean, it's bad enough when we wait too long to sign players in the summer, not having a manager and not having the tactics, not having a coaching staff to come in and take care of all that during the summer. It's just not good. So again, maybe that's a tick in the pro box for Carrick, is that the staff is already here. The tactics are already here. He's already here. He's already winning. He's got one loss, one draw, a bunch of wins. Like, he's already here doing it. Maybe that's enough for some people. Debasi says, I wasn't convinced by him between West Ham. Yeah, I was frustrated. I was frustrated with the way we played. We were too slow, too cautious. I don't think that starting Mbeumo as a 9 is the best solution. Obviously, Newcastle have been on a bit of a tear. They bullied Barcelona. They bullied us. They bullied Chelsea. I mean, they did get by with a 1-0, but I thought they've been looking very, very good at really making a strong push at the end of the season. Now, is it too push for them to, like, can they compete against Barcelona? Can they compete in the Premier League? They are trying to I don't think they see themselves as winning the Champions League, right? But maybe they do need to, maybe they're prioritizing the league. I don't know. Maybe they think they can qualify again. But if they don't qualify for Champions League this year, Eddie Howe, and they don't win any trophies, that's a big, big step backwards, man. Danny says, look at the tools he's working. The two of the back four is average. Yeah, no, I hear you. Bus says, if it's not Enrique, Carlo, keep Carrick. Nagelsmann isn't happening until 2020. Well, I don't think any international manager is happening this summer. Now, partially because I just don't think you're going to get anybody to cancel their contract ahead of the World Cup. And I really hope we don't try to get someone in after and just say that works. That's not a good plan for me. That's no plan. And what it does is it shows me that we haven't been thinking about it this whole time either, unfortunately. And so, again, that's where the Carrick for at least a year, give him a 2-year contract, see what he can do for the year. I mean, he did well at Middlesbrough. It did kind of start to fall apart a little bit towards the end there. They just couldn't arrest that decline, that losing run they went on, just couldn't turn things around, unfortunately. And I think he's shown that he's learned from that period, bringing in Steve Holland when he had his brother. Michael Carrick had his own brother helping him out at Middlesbrough. So I do think he's learned a little bit. Now, again, question marks remain. Is Johnny Evans qualified? I mean, he seems to be one taking charge of set pieces. He was in charge of that one at Spurs that we scored from. I don't know. Michael Bell's in the house. Speak of the devil, man. Pun intended. I say reassess the end of the season. He's done really well. He's only had 1 game a week. Yeah, and that's another thing. It's all well and good when you've got 1 game a week. We saw against Newcastle, though, that was like the first time we had a game a couple days after another game under Michael Carrick, and we struggled, right? The players just looked like they just did not wake up at all in the morning. Looked like they were all out the night before, or just hanging out with Rashford in Belfast or something. So, yeah, maybe that's it. I listed the other day, I said, I read a piece in LinkedIn. Someone actually wrote a big old article And there's a lot of scientific stuff in there that I'm not going to bore you with. But basically, they were critical of Michael Carrick's changes to the training patterns and the routines in the schedule. Days off after matches now, which we didn't really have before. 15 minutes later arrival to home and away matches. Shorter training sessions. Yes, the intensity is a little higher, but shorter training sessions. Some of that stuff disrupts, mentality, disrupts focus, disrupts recovery time, all that stuff. So maybe there's a little bit too much leniency there. I don't know. These are all factors to consider. But yes, Michael, we hope everybody's good, man. Hope your daughter is doing well. Hope that super dad extraordinaire is just doing what he needs to do, man. But yeah, hope your daughter is doing well, man. Good to see you. The boss was surprised when we got Amorim. I was surprised that we got him mid-season. I didn't think it was ever possible. That was kind of what started to make me think, all bets are off if you're looking for a new manager. The World Cup is a little different, but you guys worried about guys like Nagelsmann just because he's been out of club football for a couple of years now? That was a lot of people's worry with Hansi Flick. It was a lot of people's worries with Ralf Rangnick, although Ralf Rangnick wasn't hired to be manager. He just took over and ended up, in my opinion, Ralf Rangnick changed too much during his interim spell, but it is what it is. Michael Bell's everything good. Daughter, yeah, she's back home now, right? That's awesome, dude. Big up, man. I'm sure it's a huge weight off your shoulders. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we got a kickoff coming up this afternoon. Wolves and Brentford. Guys got to be scouting those Wolves players, man. I like Mateus Mane a lot. He's a really good player. Danny's not a big fan of Nagelsmann. Not everybody is. Not everybody is. I totally hear you, though. Kai's in the house. Big up, Kai. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Let us know how your day's going. JSN, the cool kid. We get a lot of old faces coming back. I remember when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did enough in our eyes to be given the job. How did that turn out in the end? Yeah, I mean, I hear all the arguments. Now, granted, Ole did get us to Europa League final. He did get us finished second. He did get us finished third. He went on amazing runs. He had Pep's number. So it's not like Ole was a disaster, right? I think a lot of people look at just the end and use that to define Ole's entire career as a United manager. Ole had some really good, impressive feats that he accomplished at United. Let's have it right. I do think that Ronaldo kind of disrupted a lot when he came back, and that's not Ronaldo's fault. That's not Ole's fault. It just is what it is. Ole himself has admitted later on that was a bit of a mistake. I did a what if episode on it. You can go check that out as well. Lots of things went wrong during that as well. So I do think that there were a lot of positives that Ole brought. I do think that maybe in some ways he was a little limited, but it is what it is. I don't think that, obviously, Carrick's not the same as Ole. It's just because it feels similar doesn't mean it is. Our brains do tend to do that. I work with clients about this all the time. In new situations, our brain needs patterns. It uses what it's experienced and what it knows to help make sense of new scenarios. And so any little thing that feels somewhat familiar to a bad experience in the past, your brain's going to automatically, to streamline the process, to kind of protect you, it's going to tell you that that's the way it's going to go. So I think when we think about Ole, when we think about Carrick, former player, interim, coming in, good run, I think a lot of us, there's a lot of similarities there, and our brains automatically tell us it's going to happen the same way. That's not necessarily the case. That's not me saying it's all going to be fine under Carrick. I'm just saying it's not necessarily automatically going to be like it was under Ole. Very different people, very different coaches, very different situations. So, oh no, she's not stop mourning. She must have been, maybe she's a Liverpool fan. I don't know. Kai says, I believe the next coach will be between Carrick or Nagelsmann. Enrique will not. Well, Enrique's in the final year of his contract coming up next year. And so maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe a 1 or 2 year contract for Carrick, see how it goes. And then maybe when Enrique is ready to leave PSG, maybe that's the time to go. We'll see. Boss says, I don't know, Hansen. Enrique always has lust for blood. Get the conversation going, guys. I'm going to move on to my third point. Is third place locked in? Is it ours to lose? It feels nice. I will say it feels nice to finally capitalize on everyone else around us dropping points for once, doesn't it? Like, it's just a nice feeling. I was a little frustrated at times with our poor defending and some of our lackluster clearances late on in that match yesterday, but And I didn't enjoy how wasteful we were in the final third sometimes. But again, I'm not going to split hairs. 3 points is 3 points. I thought we did well in those final moments to see out the result, winning some throw-ins, winning some corners, winning some free kicks. Cunha in particular, I thought managed possession really well in those final. And that's what you got to do. Just make it boring, slow it down, take care of the ball. Keeps us third, 3 points ahead of Villa now, who are in fourth. 8 games to go, 5 points ahead of Liverpool, 6 points ahead of Chelsea. Chelsea dropped points. Bin Dippers conceded a late goal to give Spurs a point. So I'm very, very happy with that. 27 points left to play for this season. Who wants it? So we've got the win. Villa lost. Pool dropped points with a draw. Chelsea lost as well. We've got to go to Bournemouth this Friday. It's Friday Night Football. Villa head over to West Ham, who just got themselves a nice little point against City. Brighton hosts Liverpool, and Chelsea get to go to Everton, who I think it could be a bit of a banana skin. Chelsea then get to turn around, play City, and then it's us versus Chelsea after that as well. We get Leeds, who I think we should be just fine with. Brentford, you never quite know what to expect with Brentford. They're not doing as well this season as they were. We get to host the Scousers. And then it's a pretty straightforward little run. I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion, but again, Sunderland not doing as great. They've kind of tapered off. Forest, obviously fighting relegation. You never want to count out a relegation threat inside. And then Brighton, who honestly you could flip a coin on what Brighton team is going to turn up on the day. But who wants it right now? Where do you see us dropping points? We still have Chelsea and Liverpool. So we've still got 2 big 6-pointers there coming towards the end of April, early May. So that could be big for us. Brentford maybe could be a banana skin, like I said. Forest maybe could be a tough one. So let's see what you guys are saying. Derbasi says, if we beat Liverpool and Chelsea, we will have a massive chance. Yeah, if we beat Liverpool and Chelsea, again, those are massive, massive 6-pointers for us. Not only will that increase the gap between us and them, right, and pretty much lock it in, like, for sure, but that would also force Liverpool and Chelsea to have to look over their shoulders a little bit. I do think Villa are going to steadily drop little by little. I think like every other week, I think you're going to see Villa drop another spot. They could probably miss out on Champions League. If I had to pick one team out of these 4 to fully miss out on Champions League, it'd probably right now be Villa, just the way they're playing. But again, beat Liverpool, beat Chelsea, and they're looking over their shoulders at the teams below them. Everton are kind of creeping up the table a little bit. They're like an 8th or something. You never want to count them out. The box is to aim big. We might get number 2. We could. I mean, we get another one, and we're only like 6 points off City. City are only about they're 9 points off Arsenal, but they do have a game in hand, so they're still, if they win their next game. But the problem is City just keep dropping points. Seriously, does nobody know how to beat Arsenal besides us? This is ridiculous. Michael says, I don't have a good feeling about Bournemouth, so I think there's a couple of banana skins for the end of the season. Yeah, Bournemouth, you never know. We're going to do the preview for Bournemouth probably Wednesday. If Dylan's available, that's probably what the kickabout's going to be. He's got his dad with him, though, so I don't want to take him away from his dad this week, so I'd rather have him do that. But if he does have time and he does want to sit down, we'll preview that one. I'll preview it Wednesday either way. Dylan could be here, could not be here. It's not a big deal. But yeah, they're not great. They love 0-0 draws. You'd think that Louis van Gaal was their manager right now, so they're not scoring a ton of goals. But then they scored. They put 4 past. It was an 8-goal game when they play them. It's ridiculous, man. Tobias says Bournemouth have a faster, younger team. They do, but they just can't seem to find the back of the net. Evan Nielsen is just not. He's an old school striker, but he's just not getting goals. None of them are. They had a bit of a bright spark when they brought in Rayon, right? They lost the menu. Everybody worried. They brought in Rayon, and he looks good. Rayon is a great player. It's all kind of dried up a little bit. Your front 3 is Rayon, Evan Nielsen, and Tavernier. Like, it's kind of like Newcastle's front 3. Like, it doesn't scream like title charge or anything. It just doesn't. It's not a front 3 that screams. Like, our front 3, I think, is very, very good. With Mbeumo, Cunha, and Shesko. I think that's a really good front 3, but it's hard to know where we could drop points. I can't anticipate it dropping too many more points. Maybe I can maybe see like Forest or like Bournemouth maybe being a loss. I just think that we're in a really good run right now. The form is really good. We're scoring. I mean, putting 3 past Villa is a pretty good result. And then I'm looking more at the fixtures for the other teams in here. I mean, Liverpool have to play us, Chelsea, and Villa. So literally all three of their rivals back to back to back. And Chelsea still have to go Liverpool. And they've got to play City and us again. So there's a lot of 6-pointers in here as we close out the season. But you never know. You really do never know. Let me climb this up. So for now, though, we'll focus on Bournemouth. That's coming up Friday, another potentially tough match, but it is the last match before the next international break. But like most importantly, let's celebrate a win over Villa. 3 points, a couple of goals, really, really good goals. Bruno breaking records. Very important 3 points against a top 4 rival. It is Champions League this week, kicking off tomorrow. Jarvis, if you're watching, I did end up ordering a Bodo Glimt shirt last night. I found one on eBay, so I will be Bodo Glimt. Mer. Fear Evig, Mer this season. We hope that they get to the final. Arsenal and Bayer Leverkusen are at 1-1 at the moment. They do play at the Emirates tomorrow, so big match for Arsenal after a big match on the weekend. Arsenal have to compete on multiple fronts still. We'll see if they can hold out. They can't give 100% at everything. It's just not possible. Newcastle are still 1-1 with Barcelona right now. And I think they're going to the camp now. So we will see how that goes. That's probably Newcastle's last push for something if they can somehow out-physical them. But you just worry if they've pushed themselves a little too much. Chelsea, Spurs, City, pretty much out already. I think that Pep probably should have gone a little stronger this weekend against West Ham. He probably should have started around Cherki. I think that Champions League is done. But obviously, when you're Pep, when you're at City, you can't just roll up to you can't just play Madrid with a bunch of youngsters. You just can't, because you have to be seen to take it seriously. If I were Pep, though, I'd definitely be putting all my eggs in the let's catch Arsenal basket, because I think Champions League is done for them. Liverpool have a 1-0 deficit to overcome against Galatasaray, but that is at Anfield, so we'll see how that goes. But again, we are all Bodo Glimt this year. The correct answer is yes, we are. Yes, Michael says, come on, Bodo. Yes. You can go check out one of my latest shorts, too, if you want to try to learn one of the Bodo Glimt songs. I did sing it in Norwegian. So go check it out if you guys want to. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you weren't able to catch the live, you guys, leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think. What were some of your takeaways? Make sure you make sure you subscribe. Again, check those memberships. We do have a WhatsApp group for Starting 11 and Legends members as well. Legends members can join in virtually during the kickabout as well, so keep that in mind. And Legends members get early access to the exclusive videos, such as my interview with James Featherstone, football agent, owner of Omnisports Agency. So Legends members get early access to that before everybody else. I try to help you guys out and show my appreciation. So whatever you guys got going on the rest of the day, enjoy your day, enjoy your Monday. Hopefully you're not sitting in the middle of a hurricane like I am, but thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys for checking out again. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys on the next one.